subscribe, and ring the bell to never miss an update. Hello everyone, today on Lady Mary Beth we are visiting Goodwill stores in the Nashville area. I just arrived and it's already nighttime, but I thought I would pop in at Goodwill. This is in Franklin, Tennessee, and let's go inside and see what treasures await. It's always nice to be back in Middle Tennessee. There happen to be two Goodwill stores in Franklin. And it's funny, when I walk in, I always remember the bargains that I found here over the last few years, including some Villeroy & Boch glasses. That's some nice wicker furniture. You could probably repaint that. And it's already been sold because the price is right. I love those gold accents. I'm thinking that could be great for the holidays. A lot of times you have weddings and other events that have just donated the items. You'll see a lot of the same thing, including these candle holders. Reminiscent of Candlewick, but it is certainly not from the Imperial Glass Company. And that's a pretty accented ruby bowl. Could be great for Christmas. And the Sterling & Noble brand, I've seen at Bed Bath & Beyond. I think you can also get that on Amazon. And that's a really good price. I know I have looked for things for college dorms too at Goodwill, and that'd be perfect. This crystal candle holder is nice. And of course, I'm always looking for glass and crystal. This is pressed glass. It's a pattern that's highly collectible. And I always like to turn things over because you never know what you'll find. It might be a back stamp that surprises you. There's a touch of chinoiserie right there. And yes, that is not food safe. It's made in China. Who puts food on a candle holder? Those figurines are nice. No back stamp, but think about the possibilities there. And that looks like a trivet. Interesting. Maybe a decorative object. This is one of my favorite finds. It's made by the Sculptured Crystal Company, which was started in 1984 by a former blower with Waterford Crystal. And they are located in Waterford, Ireland. Look at the quality of that. It's reminiscent of Waterford. Absolutely love it. And isn't that funny? It was marked down $11.99 at Tuesday morning. I recognize the sticker, but I think that's the deal. And the bell is nice. My daughter has a Waterford Crystal bell in the Lismore pattern on her bedside table for when maybe she's not feeling well and needs to wake us up during the night. I think that got started once and we just tend to keep it there. That's a nice collection. And that's really a fun piece to put in on a side table. That is missing its little ringer inside. Someone had a nice collection. Those are some lovely bells. And that's quite a fancy one. I think the prices are very fair here too. And that would be nice for the spring, especially if you're bringing flowers to a friend. That's really neat. If I were driving, I would buy a lot more. And look for Thanksgiving, a gravy boat. There's a Korean doll. I had a small collection when I was a young lady. I have a lot of contacts in Korea and have been to Seoul a couple of times. Those are some nice figurines. It's a great way to start a collection too, especially if you have a young person in your life. There's a snow globe from Croatia. That is definitely an unusual find. Someone did some traveling. And I do know of friends that collect snow globes, so that would be a nice addition. And I'm always looking for things for my Daughters of the American Revolution group for our fundraising activities. That would be a perfect plate for that. But again, I have to think about getting it home. And that planter is such a deal. My stepmother is definitely going to take this one home today. You know, planters are quite expensive, and for $7.99, you would probably pay about $50 for that at the garden center. And she's going to grab that. Look at these punch cups. Those are milk glass. Here's a nativity set, new in a box. That's from JCPenney's. Look at that. And it's $14.99. That's a pretty mug. Let's turn it over, see what it says. It's Christopher Radko for $1.99. Look at that. You know, he's known for his heirloom ornaments. I like to look at the glasses because this is where I found my Villeroy & Boch Connoisseur and Arabelle patterns. And we have both of those at our home in Germany. And eventually I want to bring those back over. Royal Copenhagen, someone went on a cruise and got these, maybe in their deluxe suite. And this pattern is very collectible. I see that a lot, the pressed glass. That looks like a quality piece. Let's turn it over and see. I don't recognize it. That would be a nice start to a collection. Those cobalt glasses are perfect for iced tea for two. And it's funny the way they package these glasses. That's exactly how my Villeroy & Boch stemware was found too several years ago. And they were so inexpensive, I couldn't believe it. Those are cute dessert plates. Remember, you don't always have to have an entire set. This looks like the buffalo. Yes, it is buffalo china from New York. You find that a lot in diners. And those are demi-tasse, which is kind of unusual size for a diner. Usually they just have coffee cups. That's a nice 4-part dish. You could set that on a larger tray. And bunnykins from Royal Doulton. My brother and I had this growing up, and I'm definitely going to grab this. I think it's an excellent price, and I will leave it in Tennessee probably and just pick it up on my next visit, hopefully when I'm driving. And this looks like it's Gorham made in Germany. My mother had a similar piece made by the Nachtmann company. They make a lot of crystal for Tiffany and Company, Gorham, Lenox, and other brands. And they started out Marquis by Waterford as well. Here's Bed Bath & Beyond, $19.99. That's the original price for this cake stand. And let's see, the Goodwill price is $7.99. So you know you're getting a fair deal on that. And you could regift it. Here's some plates that represent the decades. Those are really fun. I'm surprised they price them individually and not as a set. I would think that if you bought one, you would buy all, and I think altogether that might be a bit pricey. Unless you just have a favorite decade. Better Homes and Gardens, those are some pretty dinner plates. You could easily mix that with just some creamware. I like the floral design, that would be perfect for dessert. And look, it's Winterling from Germany. No wonder that caught my eye. I think it's from the 1950s. Those would be some nice parfait glasses or vases. There's the, I think that's the Fostoria American pattern. It could be a knockoff, $4.99. I believe that is. That's really pretty. But again, I have to be rather choosy. This I'm definitely going to grab. This is technically a napkin holder, but I plan to use it for letters and stationery. And it's originally from a place called Hall Jewelers. And that's back when a jewelry company or jewelry store would sell a lot of housewares along with jewelry, and brides would register there as well. Lenox Eternal, how about that? Saucers. Oh, that's a real find. I don't see that often at Goodwill. But I'll pass since I don't have that pattern. And I don't think my friends do either. That's a beautiful bowl shaped like a flower. And there's just so much to see. I like to look at the crystal and china first, of course, and all the glassware. Then I go to the metalware. That's a nice tray, or $2.99. Oh, but it's got two different prices. And this tray I'm definitely going to grab. That's quite the find. It's a Beatrice Ball. That's a brand that is in a lot of expensive boutiques, similar to Mariposa, and that would be probably close to $100 retail. And the pineapple looks like it maybe was Wilton Armitel. I have an identical piece, although the backing is different. I can tell it's not. And it looks like it's had maybe some acid on it or put in the dishwasher. And $1.99 is a really good deal for that wine coaster. A lot of people collect birdhouses. And someone has donated their entire collection, it looks like. And a lot of times you just have to dig through. There's so many different areas of the store, and you don't want to overlook something. Perhaps someone has put something back. I do have an animal collection for a safari look. I need to set a table soon. And that giraffe would be perfect for a centerpiece. Could create a little story with that. I like their silks as well. And you can always give second life to one of these. Maybe you don't like the container, you could pull that out and you're still going to have a much better deal than paying retail. I'm looking at this piece in the back. That looks like something I would see at an expensive gift shop. It's Creative Co-op for $2.99, original price $15. I'm gonna grab that. I think that could be a lot of fun to put with maybe a spring look, maybe on a side table. Always looking for Christmas items, and this shade of green is perfect with red and gold. And speaking of gold, these display easels will come in handy. You can never have too many, and I ended up finding something a couple of days later in Eagleville, Tennessee at Revive Us Again, and it looks great there, my fall pumpkin jewelry art. And this, I think, might be a toilet paper roll holder. Can't imagine what else that could be. And I think this mesh could really come in handy too. And I always have to look at the price. This at Dillard's, I think, is obviously a lot more expensive, so the price is definitely right, Goodwill. And I'm gonna grab that and use that in decor. You can also make wreaths with that as well. And moss is always good to have on hand, but I can pick that up in Houston too. And this sleigh for $3.99 is a deal. My stepmother is going to grab this today. And I actually saw this sleigh again when I did my triple thrift. So I'll put a link to that in case you want to watch that. This might be Princess House. That looks very familiar. And lots of packaging options too. I think this is a really good deal. I like the boxes. You can still put a pretty ribbon around it and make it quite a nice display. And especially if you're shipping something. And I don't usually look at toys, but we do have some kids in Tennessee they're always shopping for. And look at this, Chick-a-Pig Farm to Table game. Have never seen this, but for $2.99. We looked online, and that's the beauty of having your phone nearby, and it's $30 retail, so we're definitely going to take this home. The kids will like that for Christmas, and it's never been opened. That's the best part. So if you have some kids in your life, that's always good to shop Goodwill. You never know what you'll find that's brand new, and you can easily gift it to them and pay a fraction of their retail. And I'm always looking through the lamps just in case I spot Waterford Crystal, because I have found it there before. I like the shade on that. It has a bit of chinoiserie, doesn't it? Kind of has that look to it. And the soft green. It's so pretty and soothing. And I'm always looking for blue and white. It's almost an ikat type pattern. I really like that for outdoors. But I'll probably pass since I have to be selective with my space. And I do like to have a look at the linens as well. You never know what you'll find. There's a tapestry runner. That's a really nice piece too. And look, they have stockings as well. And if your name is Michael, they've got one for you. They really have a nice selection. They do a great job of displaying them as well. It's a pretty angel. Look at that. So sweet. Mother's Touch. That's from Avon. How about that? And think about the possibilities of how you could actually present that with a group of items on a side table. I love this as a packaging option for Christmas gifts, especially if you have something that's kind of an odd size or shape. That works really well in these gift bags, and it's environmentally friendly because you can reuse them from year to year. And I can't quite figure out what this is. I guess it's just a storage bin. Has an interesting look to it. You never know what you'll find at Goodwill. Those are some pretty glasses. I've seen those in antique shops before. Could even serve dessert. Think of a mini trifle. Wouldn't that be fun? And I don't know what pattern this is, but again, I like to turn things over. Nico ware, how about that? And that looks like Pampered Chef. It's a loaf pan. Pumpkin bread would be great in that. And some random Christmas items. There's some really good serving pieces too. You could put some cookies on that, some chocolate truffles, give it to a neighbor. And it's really more economical than going to the store and buying packaging. They're not the same. It's so true. I want that in my size. I have a friend in Houston whose husband shops Goodwill for golf clubs and sets of clubs as well. And he makes a living doing this. He's also an auctioneer. So I guess you just have to know your stuff, and golf is not my forte. I like to look for picture frames. And now that I've seen the Revive Us Again in Eagleville, Tennessee, and what they do with the jewelry art, we are especially looking for some frames. And I'm always surprised that you see actual photos, not models. These are real people. And it's actually happened to me once before too, where I donated some Christmas items and I went in January and found my husband's picture in a beautiful pewter frame. Of course, I had to go straight to the manager saying, I will not pay for this. This is my husband. I'm taking him home. And they actually let me do that. I was quite shocked. So I do realize how it happens. And the next Goodwill, I don't think I filmed it, but I actually did find some pictures and there was a name. And I looked on Facebook and found out that we have a mutual friend in Tennessee, and I did purchase it and got it back to her through some of our neighbors there. And I love to look at their artwork and wall art. There's really so much that you can acquire at Goodwill. You don't need to go pay retail. Aren't those pretty? Hydrangeas. Oh, look at the roses. You could really create a nice arrangement. And I don't know if you've shopped Hobby Lobby or Michael's recently, but it's quite expensive to buy all these supplies. And there's some foam for doing silk arrangements. Here are some of my finds today. I especially love that Beatrice Ball oval tray. What a deal. And of course, the sculpted crystal that's made in Waterford, and the Dillard's mesh was a deal. Well, I sure found lots of good deals today at this Goodwill store in Franklin, Tennessee, and I ran into a viewer. Her name is Beverly, and she found a fabulous tray that looks like it's silver plate, but it's actually more all-purpose. Quite a neat item. And I was so happy to meet her, got lots of good deals, and I am especially excited about that crystal that's Waterford, but not the Waterford brand. And I'll use that in so many different ways. Now let's see what other Goodwill stores await in the Nashville area. Hello everyone, welcome back to Lady Mary Beth. I am in Franklin, Tennessee at Goodwill, located off of Highway 96. I can't wait to go in and see what treasures await. Come along. This is a really nice Goodwill. It's usually a little bit busier. It's near a highway, and I walk in and immediately I'm reminded of the pieces that I bought over the years. Nora Fleming, Waterford crystal clocks, Lenox, and I'm definitely taking this sleeveless ruffled pineapple shirt home. I love gold as well. I think that'd be great for the summer. And lots of collectibles and housewares. Look at that sugar bowl with a Christmas design. So many things here, you just have to dig through. I like this compote. It's a nice etched look. I think it's got a chip on it, or crack, so I'm not going to get it. I plan to feature a segment in the new year on the history of compotes and show my collection. That'd be fun to add to a manger scene. The bagpiper there reminds my stepmother of one of her friends who is of Scottish ancestry, plays the bagpipes, and looks just like this man. So we surprised him a few days later, and that was brought over from England. Southern Living at Home. Those are some really practical dishes in that beautiful teal color. This is sort of an Amari look, similar to chinoiserie. That was originally part of a tidbit dish or a three-tiered server. You see the hole in the center. You could probably buy the piece on the internet. And that beautiful shade of green really does pop with the red. This is a broken piece, but you could probably salvage it and put something else there. That Easter bunny would be fun. And this I'm really excited about. I have a similar piece that I found at a garage sale. I think it was with my friend Meredith, and I really enjoyed showcasing that on my holiday table last year. This candle looks like a vintage Christmas item. I'm interested in this, and I actually had some batteries with me and I tried it out, but I couldn't get it to work, so I had to pass on that. And this is kind of an old-fashioned strawberry crate, if you remember those. We used to get at the grocery store back when they were 99 cents. And I didn't get it, it's from Sur La Table, but I did give it to another lady in the store, and she was really happy to put that in her cart. And this I thought about getting. It's one of those lanterns you find at some of the decorative stores. I think the price was right, but I decided not to get it because, again, I'd have to get it home. Ended up shipping 3 boxes. So I guess I could have taken that. It's a pretty candy dish. $4.99. My grandma had a dish on her coffee table. We always loved that. Some nice silver-plated pieces. And this pedestal cake stand is really nice too. Or is that a tray? I think it's just a tray. It had that illusion to it. There was something underneath it. And that would be great for hors d'oeuvres. You could put a candle in the center and create a Christmas display on your table as well. And I see some pretty glasses. That's a nice sleigh. That might have been an FTD piece. I'm not sure. Really nice. There's some depression glass, and I think that's the block optic pattern, if I'm not mistaken, a sherbet dish. But look, it's got a chip on it. I guess they didn't notice that when they priced it. My mother had this cake plate, and I think I have one as well. That's great if you're taking a dessert over to a friend's house and you don't want to get it back necessarily. This is the Slewed Horseshoe pattern made by the L.E. Smith Glass Company. I've never seen it in a compote, and I did pick this up from my father because he has that punch bowl, which you probably saw in the Host a Party segment when I hosted a party for my stepmother in Franklin. That's a beautiful 25th anniversary sterling silver overlay cake stand. And this, I'm pretty sure, is Miller Rogowska. And that's a company started by Mr. Miller, who used to be the distributor for Waterford Crystal in North America. And I thought about getting this, but I ended up passing on it. I think that was a great piece. And look at this modern pitcher. It's almost offset. Really, really like that. And I have this that I use as a syrup pitcher. I find it in antique shops quite often. It reminds me of my childhood. And look at these candle holders. You know, it's funny. Usually they sell them individually. I'm so glad they finally put them together because they do get separated in the store. And here's another piece that reminds me of, it looks like Waterford Crystal, doesn't it? Look at the 16 cuts on that. I think that is Miller Rogowska. That's a nice pink glass set. I think that might be Argo glass from France. And you could use those separately or together. Wouldn't that be perfect for some whipped cream served with dessert? Or even an individual treat. I really like that. I see so many uses for that. And here's a bowl with a Coca-Cola design. That's not something I've seen in stores. I wonder if that was a special edition. You could probably ice down some drinks in that. Use it for a fruit bowl, salad, just about anything. That's a nice silver rimmed bowl. It's probably silver plate. It's definitely not sterling. And this is that pattern that my mother and her best friend had with the goblets. And one of my viewers actually sent me a goblet, which was the sweetest thing ever. And I really, really like having a pair. Ah, that one's broken. I guess they didn't see that. Or maybe a customer broke it. Who knows? There's a Desert Rose from Franciscan. My mother had that pattern. Those are some saucers. And that's the original. It does not look like the newer version of it. And this must be Pfalzgraf. Yes, it is. It's a very kind of a folk art design. And it looks like the dishes inside are not the ones on the box. Those are from Pier 1, which is probably a better brand anyway. And those are some nice plates. Oh, look at the depression glass. This is what's called a console bowl. And I guess because maybe that was put on top of maybe a TV. Usually they had matching candle holders. You could put potpourri in it. These are some nice crystal coasters with the original sticker on it. Wouldn't this be great for ice cream? $1.99 each? That's a fair price. I just love sugar bowls. You can do so much with them. You could put candy in it. You could even tie decorative ribbons on each end for a festive occasion. And they have all seasons represented at Goodwill. And believe it or not, if the season has passed, it's usually not on sale. They just keep it for some reason. And this black cat would be great to add to your decor. Of course, for Halloween. It looks expensive. Look at all the stitching on it and the tag. For $2.99, I think that's probably a really good deal. And this hobnail milk glass compote is definitely coming back to Texas with me at $3.99, especially since I plan to feature the segment sometime, hopefully in January, on compotes. And who doesn't love Monopoly? Now you can have some dessert plates to match. And, you know, that would really be a fun gift for someone that loves the game. I think that could be really clever. And they have some Easter items. Look at that. You know, that vintage look. Sweet. You could hang that on your door for Easter. And there's more Monopoly. Look at that. That's a Kleenex cover for $1.99. Ooh, I see Raggedy Ann and some holiday dishes. It's really a good time to shop for Christmas items. Oh, there's a pretty glass candle holder for $1.99. It's got an interesting base to it. Oh, I love quotes that are made into art. All good things are wild and free. Henry David Thoreau. That'd be great for a dorm room, kids' room. Look at this beautiful pair of brass lamps. Just imagine some really artistic or trendy shades that give some personality to the plain look, and those would really come alive in a bedroom. Love that. And they've got some beautiful floor lamps. Think of the possibilities when you're looking at lightingware at Goodwill. The shade might be beaten up, but you know, you'll probably want to get something new anyway that really pops in your room. And I like things that are new in boxes. Wouldn't that be a great gift? It's got a holiday look to it, and it's from Pfaltzgraff. And I really thought about getting this. I had it in my cart for $7.99, but I ended up giving it to someone else in the store to purchase because I just can't take it all home. This would be nice for a kitchen. It's a ginger jar with sort of an Italian look, hand painted. And you may think that these arrangements look a little worse for the wearer, not very exciting, but just the opposite. Think of the possibilities here. When you go to a craft store, you're paying a lot per stem. You could pull these out, fluff them up, put those ornaments on a tree or use them in a centerpiece, and you have some raw materials to work with, and for a fraction of the cost of buying the supplies at a craft store. And even when you see a wreath that needs a little embellishment, taking that home and adding your own touch to it, you will save a lot of money in the end. And I like to look at the furniture just to get some ideas and to see the possibilities. I obviously can't take any of this home with me since I'm not driving. Those are some nice chairs. Wouldn't that be fun in a den if you had a solid color couch? And their prices are really good. And lots of chairs. And of course, these can easily be recovered. You could paint them. And where can you get a quality chair for $10? Especially one that allows you some, maybe a makeover to put your own touch on it. And this is really neat. I like that fabric. $39.99 for 4 chairs. You know, that's a pretty good deal. And if you go on senior day or when that color is on discount, then you get an even better price. That's a nice demi-lune table that could go in an entryway. Gordon's from Johnson City, Tennessee. You know that's quality. You could definitely clean that up and use one of those furniture markers to cover up the little spots there. And bar stools, you know, that's not something you usually think about, but I will tell you, when we were looking for some for my daughter's college apartment, they were actually quite hard to find. She only needed 2 of them. But we eventually bought them from a friend who was selling them. That's an excellent price, $7.99, and you could just buy one. Now this I really had to look at. It seems to be something kind of expensive. Nordic Track is a brand, obviously, I've heard of, but I don't really know much about this piece. I think it might be an older one that probably costs a lot of money. So if any of you out there know more about this, please let me know. I'd be curious to know exactly how you exercise with that. And look at this piece of furniture. It has a wine rack built in. You could even paint that. You could even put a backdrop, maybe using fabrics. And $69.99 for a hutch. Where can you go and get that? Really like their furniture pieces. These chairs look like my style. I could see maybe some pillows to dress it up a bit, add some contrast to that. And I like to look underneath too, and you can often find the history of a piece, not only the materials. This one is made in North Carolina. Look at this collection of baskets with the porcelain liners. You could probably bake in that and then place it inside. I like to look at books too. This looks like a great one. In fact, that looks like one of the chairs we just saw. Could definitely get some ideas here. Nice coffee table book for sure. Oh, it looks like home. This is the lantern that I thought about getting, and especially with it being new in a box, but I decided to pass on it because I just can't take everything home to Texas. Now, it was really hard to let these go. $7.99. They were $60 a pair from an interior design specialist. Acrylic and brass, but I did let another lady put those in her cart, and she was so happy to have them. Look at these Apple headphones. Yes, it actually is from the Apple company, and I can't wait to use those on the airplane because you do get to plug those in and you don't lose your AirPods. So that's perfect for international travel. And our family loves to play Scrabble. I don't think we'd need this one, but I found some great things today. I love Goodwill shopping in Tennessee, and I will show you some of the items I'm getting. Those 2 compotes, the Sloot Horseshoe and the Hobnail Milk Glass. And this wonderful dish Can't wait to use on my Christmas table. And here's my pineapple sleeveless ruffled top. Love that. And let's see what else I have in my cart. My stepmother's getting the snowman dish. Perfect for holiday snacks. And she's getting the memo pads to put near the phone. And I found a Miss Daisy's dessert recipe book. She's well known in the Nashville area. And that's great for my homemade hot chocolate, which is also on my website, by the way, ladymarybeth.com. Found some great items today at this Goodwill in Franklin, Tennessee. And I have had a lot of luck here in the past, Waterford crystal clocks and other items, and it didn't disappoint today. Since I'm flying, I didn't have the chance to buy everything that was a bargain or of interest, so I found some other shoppers when it was time to cull my basket and make those important decisions. And I think I have a few new viewers as well. Some very happy people today with these great finds. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Beth. Elevate your everyday with Goodwill finds.